Welcome back. We got another good one for you guys. I want to say thank you, man. In the comments,
Comments have been great.
the comments have been, man. They just been starting some great brainstorming sessions for us. So
It's giving us energy.
Yeah,
It's giving us a
yeah.
lot more. We're excited now to make these videos and to talk about what's on our mind. These are things that we have discussions about and things that we've always been transparent, but now we're doing it like 100% out of how we feel, our experience, directly to you guys without having to kind of.
I want to say like that. They like we don't gotta say that anymore. You
We
know what I mean?
don't. We don't. Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you guys for understanding us and opening up the conversations, because there's still hate. There's always going to be hate, but I think there's more of people understanding that, looking at the bigger picture or looking at things in a different way.
Yeah.
About a lot of opinions and a lot of business models. And ethics is thrown in, and we feel the same way. We see it. Like, once you start observing businesses like we do, it opens up your eyes to a whole bunch of stuff. You're like, okay, wow, that's crazy. But then you're also able to look at the other side of things and say, okay, man, that's great. That may not work for me, but it's working over here for them. Or maybe this may work for me. Let me try to incorporate a little bit of this. Whether that be product, chemical, your approach to things, the way you operate. I think, trying a wide array of things is how you succeed, right? You try things. If it don't work, you fail.
How you
go
grow.
back to
It's how you mature.
Yeah.
How you become a better person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Push those boundaries,
Yeah.
see what you're made of.
Yeah.
So yeah, just thank you guys for tuning in, and thank you for these comments. And we love to get them, get the comments and have those discussions back and forth, because we're always learning too. So yeah, I just wanted to say a quick thank you. But
So some of the comments, what we got us going is we had a best of video 2024, and again, that's our opinion, our perspective. We try to give you the reasons why they were the best for us and what it did for us. And other folks have dropped the best of, clearly.
yeah.
But then that got me thinking. Well, a lot of the reasons why this gets people shook is the definition of what is the best. What makes something the best?
What constitutes the best?
Yes, and for people, there's a bunch of different
Man,
reasons.
this is going to be fun, because there's so many different reasons, and I have.
This might have to be a part two, because this
Yeah.
this is definitely part two, because we could go on one subject for a long time.
Yeah, this one is because I think people at all levels have a different idea of what's best.
Okay, this is one. Who is the GOAT? Who is the best basketball player? It's probably 80%, probably LeBron James or Michael Jordan. Who is the best? God damn. First of all, you're not going to tell me LeBron James ain't dope, no matter how you feel about Michael Jordan, but they're doing. You know what I mean? When you say the best, you're talking about the best of the best.
It's a crybaby.
And then, like, let's say you're not the best. What if you have to be second behind Michael Jordan?
Yeah.
Well, who is the best? I guess that's what I'm saying. Like that.
What I'm trying to say is, I know what you're trying to say. I'm trying to say something different.
Oh, okay.
What I'm trying to say is give them an example of something where you've had something and you thought that was the best, and then you have something else. You're like, oh, okay, that was definitely not the best. And that's what I thought was the best before I tried this.
Okay.
There's certain things in there, and I'm just saying this like this is just an example. I'm not saying this is the best or whatever. It's up there in my opinion, but it's not the best.
I tell you what.
What?
Steak. You think you had a good steak?
Oh,
Well,
yes.
You try some filet mignon every time.
Yes. Yeah.
Every time. Like that's our best, right? When we go get a steak,
Yeah.
we're playing games.
Yeah, we're not gonna.
We're playing
We're not
games.
gonna. Yeah, we're done with the. We're done with the. Oh, I hope this steak is good.
This New York steak,
Yeah, or whatever it is, this porterhouse or this.
and that's for us. Like that's we could. You guys know what we're saying? Like, what's something that changed your mind? Well, you
Yeah,
thought you
so
had
now
the
it's
best.
just like filet mignon. We
Yes.
want to eat steak, it's filet mignon. No, I'm not even messing around with it unless it's prime rib. This is a whole different thing. But yeah, if there's certain things where you're going through life or doing whatever. Say you drive a Honda. It may be a nice Honda. It may be a SI. It may be whatever. And at that point, your mind might be saying, "Hey, man, this is the best sports car ever made."
Right.
But get into something else that's completely different, gives you a different experience. You may be changing your mind about your little Honda SI.
Yeah.
That's an extreme example, but I'm just stating that's the way things. When people come to our trainings, what's the first thing they do? We put them in uniform, so they have uniform on. They feel nice already. They have all their stationery. They're feeling good. And then when it's time for the technical side, if they're doing anything technical, they pull out the gloves. And what do they always say? Man, these gloves are super nice. These are, up until that point, they thought whatever gloves that they were using were the best. And now everything else is unacceptable. So that's what I mean when you think about saying the best. Until you experience or until you get to a certain point, some of that does not matter. But once you hit a certain point in your technical ability or your growth, everything matters. So when I hear the guy say, "Oh, it doesn't matter," it's like, actually, everything matters. That's the difference.
I think as detailers that are watching, people that are DIYers, I think we can all say, when it comes to cleaning rims, you try everything. All alkaline cleaners, all degreasers, whatever. You try acid?
Oh, yeah.
This is the best way to clean. I'm not talking about safety. I'm not talking. No, but if
You get them shits clean.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you want to get everybody knows acid.
Because everybody says, I want a 100% touchless wheel cleaner. Well, it's out there.
Yes.
But you better have them signing liability,
Right.
like every time you do a car, because over time you're going to have some problems.
I think we all could. Well, maybe not. That's what we think the best, fastest way, chemically wise, to clean a wheel. Somebody might be big, but majority will say,
Yeah.
acid. Quit playing games. Acid.
And that's a big jump in performance. People have their different ideas, I think, of best because I think how it relates to them. Not necessarily, because there's a lot of people out there that do fact-based videos, and it doesn't matter, even with the fact-based videos, people will still say, well, I like mine better. It's like, well, they literally just showed you that this one is better. And they're like, well, no, it's, and then they have, there's some emotional attachment. In a sense, you're always going to value your opinion a little bit more than everybody else's, and that's a level of trust too.
But I guess it's saying that a lot of people think like some people pick the best trash stuff to work with. Like, they have the best, but the best of the trash.
Yeah, there's tiers and there's levels and stuff.
So you're right. You are using the best, the best of that kind.
But also, what about this? What about people that state? So, say you get a response like this. They say, "Hey, Joel, hey Sal, what's the best so and so?" And you give them your opinion, and they're like, "Nah, you know what? I'm cool with I like my my so and so, my Max Shine so and so." But in your heart, that like only if this guy knew, if he tried it one time, but they just don't want to spend the money.
But this goes.
So that's the best to them.
But this goes what we do when it comes to sales and coming to education. What's the best? Okay, what are you looking for? Let's narrow it down what the best could be. And that, like, you know what I mean? That's like when people start asking about details or whatever, like we still ask, you ask more. They come with a question, we're following up with the question to narrow it down more. Like if you ask me, someone asked me, I'm like, what are you looking for? What are you trying to do? They'll usually tell you the problem they're running into.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But however, like you said, if I would have said we're the best, well, I would have said it would have been this.
There's so many different categories you could put everything under like best.
Because
you put cost, you could put
that's what I was going to say. Cost.
Biodegradable.
That's the best, whatever they get the cheapest dollar.
Yes.
Because all in the comments you'll hear, oh man, for that price, I could get more out of this one. It's
Yeah.
like, okay, well, we're not talking about price here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you had the money, like-
no, don't even say that. If price was out of the equation.
Yes.
Like
Which one
if
would
you're
you
gonna
grab?
tell me if somebody put
Yeah.
this here and this here, and you know for sure this is more expensive, but it works twice as
Yeah.
better, and this was like half the price, but it didn't work. I put more work. Do you think somebody's really gonna say, "Oh man, give me that one"?
Right,
That one
right.
made my job harder.
You're right.
And yeah, give me that one.
Yeah.
Who the fuck is gonna say that?
Yeah.
Those cheap
The
guys.
cheap people, they just always revert to the price.
Yes.
No matter what. It's like, okay, we'll go. Let's change the subject to what's the best pricing. Like,
Yeah.
you know.
But, oh, that's too expensive.
Yeah.
And then they're the ones that complain about the cheap customers.
Yeah.
Oh man, all these nobody wants to pay my prices. I was like, no shit. Look at yourself. You don't want to pay no prices. You're searching for rock bottom everything you go. So guess what? That's where you are, and that's where your business is at. That's where you reflect, homie. Like that's what's happening. That's your reality.
Yeah.
Like you created that. Nobody else. Like we've seen guys go out of business.
Well, yeah,
we have seen guys go. Here's something to reflect on. We have seen guys go out of business because they were so cheap. Because they wanted to save all these pennies and dollars here and there. What it did was it stopped their productivity. It stopped their growth.
And they didn't even know it.
And they didn't know it. They're buying all these different products, searching for the right, the fix-all, the magic, whatever. And it doesn't exist. You got to put in the work. You got to do the technical side. You got to do the business side. So when you're searching for that fix, that's not going to fix the major problem, the big problem. It'll fix it'll fix one of the 100 things going not right. So when you do that, you're constantly like searching for stuff and you're not focusing on improving. You're just looking for
Yeah, so-
you're looking for a cheat code instead of actually you're Googling how to run the marathon faster. And then somebody's actually running the marathon, but not fast. And you're like, I'm just going to figure this out so I can get there real quick.
Hey, then
but
also,
the other one's actually making
And
ground.
also, the people that are like that find each other, and they end up taking advice from those people.
Oh, yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like, hey,
Yeah.
man.
And they got nothing but
Like,
problems in
yeah,
their
yo,
little
I'm trying to-
circle.
I need a generator. I need something like quick, fast. Oh, man, just go to Harbor Freight.
When something breaks, they start like gymming it. Oh, just add a so-and-so and then bypass it with the such and such and do that. It's like, yo, that's more work than just getting a new one or get something from the get-go that's not going to have that problem.
But they don't look at things like they wouldn't look at it like that. Is what I'm saying. They haven't figured that out.
Yeah, and I'm not talking, and we're not talking. You got to go from a Ryobi to a Kranzler.
I think
We're
I think the people get it, man.
yeah, we're talking small stuff like, yo, that's just $50. That $50 is gonna save you a whole bunch of headaches.
Yeah.
Like, just go get it.
Like,
as a matter of fact, we forgot to stop and get the O-ring. But go ahead.
When you buy a cheap generator, it goes out.
Oh yeah, and this
Goes
is
out
something that's
every 6 months.
Everybody
so now you gotta
knows
stop
this.
operation, go get one, go transfer. Yeah, people may say, oh, but I got a warranty. This one was free. Well, okay, well you had to stop and plan to go over there and back. Like if you just got a Honda.
yeah. And what if they don't have it and you got to go to multiple locations?
Yeah. And like when people tell us, hey man, quit playing games, just jump there. Like,
We're stop playing the games.
okay, you're right. You're right.
And that's one of the things a lot of people, it's hard for them to do and I understand why, because that's where the investment part comes in.
It's simple. I think we all guilty of this. Foam cannon, we're guilty of it.
Yeah.
The foam cannon isn't working right, but yet something so simple, we're having a headache. This thing's not performing right. Just get a new foam cannon.
Yeah.
Like I think we all could attest to that. Like once you start recognizing those things and getting better.
Yeah.
Like we quit playing games. It's just quit.
We have seen guys go out of business for being so frugal to where they've either used up so much of their time trying to fix things and trying to save a penny that they end up like losing time that they can be putting somewhere else into their business. And it happens, guys. It really happens. So don't be afraid to make those, those jumps when you have to. So don't let. So when we talk about the best, those guys obviously have a category of the best. What they think they're gonna see value as far as those guys want to see most volume for the minimum price. That's what those type of cats are looking for. So for them, Super Clean may be the best. Mm-hmm. And that's just an example. Like Super Clean may be the best. Or Costco towels might be the best. Like I can see cats like that saying, nope, Costco towels are the best. Can't beat that price. And that's it. And that's it. Discussion over. They say it like that. All right, brother. All right. Yeah, you got me. You're not lying. You are not lying. You are not lying, my man.
You could get a whole lot done with some Costco towels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when a lot of these guys start, take the Costco towels, you think those things are made out of platinum or something. Like, oh man, like it's a nice towel. Or the guys that flex, I got a fresh towel every car. I'm like, it's a fresh Kirk Franklin. Like, you should be using a fresh Kirk Franklin every time. Because them shits ain't worth nothing after a couple.
Hey, no, but how about the dudes that use the Kirkland towels? But those things are beat up, and them things are still in rotation.
Yeah.
Like still trying to clean windows. Yeah. You know what I mean? Still trying to get that leather. It's like, man, like you're like working -10 now. You know what I mean? You might as well just be using water at this point. Like you take it, just use warm water then if you're gonna start working like that.
Yes, because people don't realize how ineffective certain things become over time.
Yeah. Again, that's what put the cheap detailers out of business.
Yes, that type of stuff.
Like, I ain't bought towels in 25 years. Like,
yeah.
Let me see your towels. Like, okay, that. Woo.
Yeah. I remember people say we were at an event and one of the guys comes up to us and he started asking about what type of. We always get this all the time. What type of drying towel you guys use? And we always tell them Clean Korea Drying Duo. That's our go-to. And they always come with questions like, how many towels does it take to dry a car? And we're like, how many cars? And then I have to think, I'm like, oh, I forgot. Like there's some towels out there where you can't dry a whole car with one towel.
Yeah, that's how we started. That's how when I started, it was like that. We needed like 3 towels for.
Yeah, how ineffective is that compared to what we are now? Like Pops. Pops is 70 what?
I'm picking up towels. When my man asked me, hey, how's that Clean Korea towel? Because he always like, it's the best. He's all, how long does it take before you got to do this? Do we know the old dry towels? You know what I'm talking about? You have to twist them out.
You have to read it out, because it gets so packed up in it. Yeah.
And I was just like, wait. And I was like, hey, you don't have to do that to this. Like say goodbye to that. Like you don't have to worry about that no more.
And like the cheap ones,
I didn't know how to respond to that.
Yeah.
It took me a second. Like,
what are you talking? Like, because I forgot that they used to do that too. Yeah, you used to have to wring them shits out. Like I have Sal on one side, I'm on the other side. Remember we used to do that? Yeah. Jeez.
Let's get better towels and let's get more towels.
Yeah.
Let's get better and more. Let's solve this.
Yeah.
Quality.
Yeah.
We go quality. Now we have a best of what makes quality.
Yes.
That, you know what I mean? But quality in general.
Like that could be like best build. That could be durability.
Yes.
It could be fitment. It could be
longevity.
Longevity. It could be noise.
Yeah.
There's things that we have simply for noise. We see people's stuff and they're like, my generator's real quiet. Or my air compressor. When people tell us, oh, my air compressor is real quiet, check it out. And it turns like da-da-da-da-da-da. Like ours, you turn it on, it's like a hiss.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah, and what's good about that is a measured, something that you can measure, whether you want, sound is not subjective as far as loudness.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like color. It's like, no, that's black. Like, no, it's not. That's black. We've just learned over the time the better stuff is expensive. But that's not in every case.
Yes.
Because
in most cases.
But you do have people selling cheap shit and trying to sell it for a high price. Usually they don't stick around. Usually people call them out. Usually there's something quality lacking.
Yeah.
When you try to charge a certain amount for something and it doesn't perform, you're just waiting for bad feedback. You're waiting for the backlash. You're waiting for, and if you don't step up, it's going to be very difficult for you to recover if you're able to recover at all. So when it comes to kind of things that align with one another, I would say quality and price is right there. I don't expect certain things from cheap stuff. I just don't. You can't.
The best could be just be simply based on need. Like in your area, what is the best? Well, this stuff is the best. I work in the humid conditions.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Environment does
Yeah,
make a difference on a lot
environment.
of stuff.
Yes, sir.
Especially in detailing. Because there's guys like the humidity is a big factor in the dryness in the air, the moisture in the air. Like even like the past few days, just drying the cars. It's a different, when the conditions change, you do need different stuff. So if somebody's bead maker, I know some people are like, I can't. I used to hear this a lot more. I don't really hear it now, but people used to say, I can't even use bead maker out here. It's just, over here in South Florida or whatever, because it just gives me a headache. It just makes a mess.
Maybe people just ain't using it anymore.
Could be. There's a lot out there on the market.
Mm-hmm.
At one time, that was the best. So at one time, that was considered the best. So there's a lot of measurables when it comes to the best. It's hard to say because everybody has their own idea of what's the best.
What is the best way to polish a car? What's the best way to finish a car?
Yeah. It's like always ongoing arguments for the best.
Yeah.
And not that it really even matters.
Even if
I
you
think
say
it's
what
just
is
like-
the fastest,
Yeah.
there's going to be arguments of what's the fastest.
Because we don't, there's very few things where people say, what is the best? What's the best drying towel?
Clean Korea.
Okay. He knows in the depths of his soul that Clean Korea is the best.
The Clean Clear duo. Let's make it.
That's on top of that.
Yes.
That's even better than the
Yes.
best. So there's very few things where you can.
I'm sorry, Clean Korea Evo. That's what I meant. The Evo.
Okay.
That's the best of the best for drying towels.
What's the best carpet brush?
Viking. Okay. Shoe, what's the best?
Okay.
What is the best pressure washer?
Kranzla. But some would say Ryobi. A lot of people would say Ryobi. I definitely ain't saying active.
No. What I'm saying is it
depends. It depends. Yes. And it depends. Is this where you're going?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, listen, I'll break it down.
Yes. You're not going to tell me that Ryobi is better built than the Kranzla.
No. But
speaking of what's the best, like
But
what has the better material?
But yeah, the
I think
Kranzla.
yeah.
But as far as necessity and
Put
use,
it this way. Take price.
yes.
Your two on the shelf. Which one are you grabbing?
Well, I'm grabbing the Ryobi. I'm grabbing the Ryobi. I'm grabbing the Ryobi for two reasons. From everything I know.
So I guess asking you that question is not what the best Kranzla is. So that
You know
was the
what?
wrong
Yeah,
question
you know
by
what?
me.
Yeah, that's a wrong question. That's a tough question because I want a Kranzla and I want a Kranzla for the quality
Okay,
build. The
let's just
dependability.
say every time you were going to pick up a pressure washer,
I would like it to be a Kranzla.
then that's
Yes,
the best.
Yes.
That's the best as far as going that way.
Because those are two that I can say. The only reason I even have Ryobi anywhere near Kranzla, like let's not get this wrong, like two completely different tools. One surpasses the other. I'm pretty much unsure on every level. The only reason I'm saying this is because the Ryobi is such a cheap price point, and for that price point, you get a lot out of you get a lot for what you pay for. But even then, I still know I shouldn't be using a Ryobi. Because I know the crowd. I would have a little bit more confidence every day.
Loud. That's the loudest thing we got.
Yeah, and that's why I want a Kranzla, because Kranzla's super quiet. Yeah, it's one of those things where I'm like, hey, this is working, so I kind of don't want to change it. But I also know it's one of those things when I change it, I'm be like, should have did this shit a long time ago. Because that's when you have the quality stuff, and that's the least quality of anything we have. By a long shot. We don't have anything like our gun is more than that. Our pressure washer tips are more than what that little pressure washer is worth. Our brushes are worth more than that pressure washer. Like you put things into perspective like that, it's almost like, why are you guys running with that? Simply because I haven't taken the leap. But every time I have taken the leap on the air compressor, on the polishing systems, on the machines, on what else do we have?
Like
On the compressor.
we don't have the best vacuum.
No.
We had the best according to what we need it for. But if
Yes.
every time I was going to use the vacuum, I would want full power at all times. Period.
Yeah. Yeah. So there is a best, like, you know, there is a best. I think there's a best when it comes to like
Your needs.
the side. Yeah. But I think I think it can fall into easily two categories if we're talking straight objective truth. And I think one would be application. How are you using it? How is it being, what are the conditions? Because sometimes
Right.
the other one just can't provide that. So it no longer becomes, there's no longer a measurement. Then there's just flat out quality. And then there's just flat out performance. So you have how you're going to use it, and then you have performance. Like for us, the backpack is not all about performance.
Right.
It's about application.
Right.
So that is the best for us. There's certain things that you don't need to put so much. I think people always feel that sometimes they say, "Oh, this needs to fulfill all of these things."
Right.
So tell me some things that you would consider if you're going to name something the best. Like, what would you consider? What has to be on the list?
Okay.
Like, what has to be like a minimum criteria?
Minimum criteria would have to be quality if it's made with quality stuff.
Okay.
We could have the discussion what's quality later, but I think for the most part, we can all agree on what's built better.
Yes. Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, we're not going to sit here and say that Mercedes and Hyundai are the same shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, yes, Hyundai has a good class, but come on, like,
Yeah.
I don't care.
You're not going to convince me.
Yes, yes. You're not going to convince me that Mercedes doesn't have the best carpet.
Yeah. I think reliability is definitely one on mine from a work.
Definitely reliability. From
You know what I
a
mean?
business standpoint,
Yes. I'm talking business.
Yes, reliability.
Yes.
Reliability.
Yeah.
Yes, reliability.
Because if you're working say if you're working in a restaurant, we're broadening this.
Okay.
And you work in a deli, but your meat slicer keeps breaking. There's a problem here. Like obviously that's not going to work for you. You got to go higher quality. Or you need some. If you don't have something reliable, the operation could stop.
Right.
Like the generator.
So reliability, quality, and all these things are going to be dependent on the other. For this. Accessibility. What I would consider the best in my
like
if
it's not accessible.
Yes.
Like do you mean like replacing or acquiring one, or actually, or just like ease of use?
It could I mean replacing.
Okay. I think reliability needs to be in that top 5 for sure. What else we got as far as criteria wise to be considered?
What do you call performance? Performance. Obviously, you'll be able to tell if something's more powerful. You know what I mean?
If it's quieter, faster.
Yeah, those things you'll be able to distinguish. So I guess when people ask what's the best, it's either like, well, or are you trying to say what's my favorite, or are you trying to find out what's the best? If you want to ask me what's the best to argue, then we got to ask more questions.
Yeah. There's very few things where we say like immediately, where we don't have to think or ask you what your, what's going to be the application for this? Like, what is this for? If somebody tells me, oh, what's your favorite such and such? Well, it depends. But when they come to us and they say, what's your favorite? Or what's the best drying towel? Not favorite. What's the best drying towel? There's only one answer. And it's just not going to change. We search for those type of things because those things to us are the best. If it's saving you time, if it's saving you money, if it's saving you headache, if it's reliable, if it's quality built, if it performs well, those things are crucial to. So when we think of the best, I think so many times we think of like such small things, insignificant things. It's like, well, yes, it may do that really well, but it doesn't do any of the other stuff. That's like having a nice motorcycle. Oh man, but it has these springs, it has this. Oh, look at the paint, but it doesn't start.
Right.
It's like when you say best, I think you have to think about everything. Like the IK Foamer, when we said, is it the best? I would say it's the best build. Those things are pretty durable. Like they feel good. They could take a pounding, they could take a beating. I put everything in those guys except for acids, but I put some heavy stuff in there and they're tanks. They're little tanks.
We're saying when that thing works, it works.
Yes, but there's a big downfall to it, and that's what keeps us from not using it.
Like if I could pick that thing up every time,
yes,
and it would come out, I would say, "I'll give me that foamer."
Yeah. I can't call it the best because of that reason.
Mm-hmm. The best of what we have in the mobile rig versus what the best would be in the shop, two different things.
Yeah.
We're changing some things out. It ain't coming in the shop.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like that's for sure not happening. Mm-hmm. Like we're not running with the Makita backpack in the shop.
no.
What's best for the shop now?
Well, even here in the studio, we have the big boy.
Right. Yeah.
And out there, we're using the big boy's the best in here.
Yes.
Because we're covered. It's temperature controlled. We could take our time with it. But out there, no. Mm-hmm. But as far as what it pushes out, yes, it's the best, but it's not the best in all these other categories. Like it got beat out. It was for a long time, but it got beat out. It got beat out for less performance and more accessibility.
Right.
I think when we ask ourselves what's the best, we need to just incorporate everything overall more as a whole. I think people get too stuck on, oh, this is the brand that I love, or they make everything good, or this or that. Like I still know, deep down, like the stuff that I know when it comes to especially products, I know the stuff that I know that works. And there's a few coming from other places, but a bulk of it comes from three companies that we use. That's PNS, Coach Chemi, and Carbon Collective. Those for us are always holding it down. But there's we don't just stay within there. There's a few hitters that are coming from other places, like Jimbo's. Like Jimbo's is coming. That's something I have to have on hand because of the performance. I don't think so much the problem is the facts behind what's actually the best. I think it's sometimes the person it's coming from, or maybe the brand that it's made by. I think those are problems too. So when you say best, it's a never-ending debate.
Okay, I got one more. You can
Okay.
this up. Okay, so I asked you, says what the best is. Who is the best quarterback?
I would say Joe Montana.
Joe Montana?
I would say Joe Montana. I would
Okay.
say